Yesterday we talked about Pokemon suing, or Nintendo suing Pocketpair, which is the developer of Palworld, for copyright infringement. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company officially suing Palworld developer over multiple patent infringements. Original story, it's official. Nintendo and Pokemon Company are taking legal actions against Palworld developer Pocketpair. They're not suing them for trademarks, and that would be if the Pokemon look the same as the Pals, or the Pals look the same as the Pokemon, then they would trade them for trademark issues or likeliness. But we have a copyright infringement, and it looks like this is more catered towards essentially game mechanics that are present in Palworld, that are also present in Pokemon, and the Nintendo company tried to get a patent for those. And the biggest one seems to be capturing Pokemon. And there's a post right here on Twitter that shows an overview of this. In a first mod, an animation direction in a virtual space is determined based on a second operation input, and the player character is caused to launch in the aiming direction an item that affects a field character disposed on a field in the virtual space based on a third operation input. In a second mode, the aiming direction is determined based on the second operation input, and the player character is caused to launch in the aiming direction. A fighting character that fights based on the third operation input. Controlling the input signals based on the game progress involving additional visual provided the game, say the overlay simulated by HUD, or displaying laser sight in a shooting game using indicators, and so on and so forth. And then they go further into detail below, which is not linked here, but that's I guess one of those patents. And so they are trying to patent capturing Pals, Pokemons, using Pokeballs. And it looks like Palworld copied that a little bit too much. This, you can see here, it's from Nintendo. So if I create a hunting game using a trap, I can't in fear of being sued. Yeah, if Nintendo made the trap first, yes. Of course. If Nintendo made that trap and they happen to make a patent for that particular trap because they like it so much, yeah. Yeah. This is one of the pictures from that particular patent. And if we take a look here, we can see the guy that's tossing what you obviously can tell is a Pokeball at... And this is, I guess, supposed to be the image of a Pokemon. This is in the US, by the way. 2024, you see this? This is in the US. They're trying to apply to have this patent, I don't know, be accepted, I guess. In Japan, it seems to me, and as far as I heard, this is already accepted. And so that means that they could potentially sue Palworld for copyright infringement based on that particular game mechanic. So they would potentially... So I think what would happen if this goes through, which I think is dumb, now you can't use that particular way of capturing something anywhere. I don't know about this. Throwing balls at Pokemon and then capturing them. Take a look at these images. Nice. Boom, successfully caught it. B. How long before some patents walking? Someone patents walking? No, so like I have had a little bit of patent teaching in school, and the way this works is it's got to be something that is not... It has to be something very, very specific that is not an everyday occurrence, essentially. So you can't patent walking, okay? You can patent... You can try to patent capturing a Pokemon, which obviously it seems to have worked in Japan. And you can patent a particular way of building a certain machine as well. And so like the parts that you use and the tools that you use. If that is a particular way that you want to have patent so that others don't steal it from you. That's what you could do. However, in this case, I would have assumed, now looking at those pictures, you can see here that this is, I guess, the aim direction. Field character, attacking. They have had to be very specific here, right? But they still, in my opinion, what this is missing, which is something that I thought would be in there, is, you know, the ding, 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 plof. Essentially the capturing part. The wobble, yeah. So the wobble is not in there, which means that essentially if they didn't patent the wobble, well, then the wobble would extend an already existing functionality, and therefore it's an extension. You know what I mean? So like, let's say they patent everything to a T, but they forgot the wobble, and then someone takes that thing and adds the wobble to it. Is that a new thing now? Are we talking about Palworld versus Pokemon dispute? Yes, we are talking about this. We now have more information that they're suing them not for trademark issues, which would be likeliness of characters, which essentially they can't really do that. Because ultimately Pokemon has a very high likeliness to Dragon Quest. You can see that many of the designs for Pokemon have been taken straight from Dragon Quest. Let's say a face, and then they added that face to a similar looking character. They kind of yoinked it, yes. And so Palworld we saw yesterday, they do the same thing. Oh, here, it actually shows us the similarities. That's a stretch. It does make sense though, because, you know, the tail is kind of the same, but a little bit different. I mean, in my opinion, this is a stretch, but okay. This little fox pal named Fox Sparks obviously evolves. The little Firefox Pokemon Vulpix evokes, yeah. And the Flaming Tail bears a striking similarity to Charmander's. But while those similarities are easy to see, they are nothing more than just that, similarities. This is a great example of a pal that puts its own unique spin on a Pokemon concept. See, I agree. So you do have similarities, however, damn, there's a lot of examples here. Let's see. The same goes for the Blue Penguin pal Pengulet, which reminds me of the Blue Penguin Pokemon Pipulp. Goodness, these names. Same idea with distinctly different execution. It's very similar though. It's just a penguin. Yeah, I guess it is. They did 100% this on purpose to have more hype and attract more players. 100% they did this, yeah. Why do you think that? Well, because they have exactly the same game they made with humans. And it wasn't as successful as Palworld. It was still very successful. But bro, if we take a look at Palworld, it's like night and day. 16,000? You can see this right here. 270,000. Of course. I mean, you can do this for every game that has elemental animals. No. Yeah, that's true. It is true. But so I think what we're seeing here, by the way, if we go back to this, I mean, the colors are just awesome. I have to say this. Yeah, I mean, it looks good, man. It's transformative. So this is the big question, right? Because you do have elements that are copies, but those elements are transformed a lot. You know, this is not the same as this. Well, yes, the mouth is the same and the eyes are the same. It's still transformed. Let's see. Oh, that's a stretch. Dude, that, I mean, yeah, they took the eyes and the mouth again and then changed the entire design. I don't know, man. Bro. Which part? Which part? The crown? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Probably, I mean, this one just looks way better than this one. They have a tail? Come on, because of this? The end part here? Like, come on. We see that this doesn't seem to be a big problem because otherwise they would sue them for trademark issues. But they're suing them for copyright infringement. And so my opinion is, in the US, I don't think this will go through, but it might go through in Japan, which I think the best thing that could come out of this, if they successfully get sued, which I hope they don't, I hope that Nintendo loses. We went over this yesterday. The reason why I want Nintendo to lose is because they make terrible games now. Do I want them to win? No. I want Palworld to win, because if they win, then we just get these types of games now. Do you guys want to play this? I don't. I don't want this. I don't want this. I want this, man. And this isn't even the best screenshot. But look at this, man. The characters look awesome. The colors are great. The moment-to-moment movement in this captured in this image looks really cool. The world itself looks very high detailed and rich. It's awesome, you know? And then just compare this, bro. This is light and day. What is this? Doesn't Nintendo build their games so they run on their low-power devices? So you're saying that this is looking like ass because it's on a terrible device on like the Switch? I'm gonna show you something from the Vulcan Discord, okay? So I know a guy from the Vulcan Discord. He had a very good screenshot of what he made on the Switch. He was a Switch developer. Like Switch developers, for those of you who do... Ah! I found it! Ah, Vulkan guide. There we go. So there is a guide on Vulkan. Okay, online. And this person right here, and I was doing the guide. When I learned Vulkan, GPU-driven rendering, I read through this. Okay, and so there's this person right here who's running at 290 FPS on the Switch. Okay, and if your target, let's say Pokemon is targeting the Switch, vkguide.dev, yes. You're telling me that Pokemon, this right here, cannot look like this? And this is a guy that just wrote a Vulkan guide? You're telling me that the Pokemon guys cannot do this? You see how many objects this is? How many batch renders that is? Like 900 batch renders? That's crazy. And that's running on 290 FPS. That means that there's still more he could do. I think it's just laziness and at the same time maybe inexperience because the good developers left and now the bad ones are still in there. Some people in chat also today pointed out that this is a Windows window and the FPS is 290. Now there is not an image of the game running on the Switch here. I know that. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because the dude that made this guide ported this to the Switch. And he had similar FPS after doing some, how do you say that? After doing some improvements and optimizations. But the FPS was similar and he could draw exactly the same distances. So I'm not saying that this is on the Switch. I should have pointed that out. But it is on the Switch. The guy that made this is a Switch developer on the Vulkan Discord. If you want to ask him yourself, you can do it. If you don't trust me, you know, there's a comment section here below. Under every one of those, if you want to read this yourself, you can do it. But essentially, the point was, the reason why I brought this up was because Pokemon just looks atrociously bad. And this is a Switch developer who's managed to do incredible things on the Switch. Ultimately saying that if you have enough money, you should be able to hire enough talent to make your game look good. It's just basically another reason why I think these guys are lazy. That's how I see it, and they are cheap and lazy, and you could see it in the final products. Okay, Switch games do not have to be ugly. The companies filed a lawsuit against the developer today, September 18th. That's actually yesterday, seeking an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Palworld, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights. I can't read this, by the way. We posted the news release filing lawsuit for infringement of patent rights against Pocketpair Inc. Was that on Switch, Cakez? That was on the Switch, yes. Nintendo will continue to take necessary actions against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties as it worked hard to establish over the years. Nintendo's statement reads, the filing is absolutely massive news and follows months of speculation that Nintendo will take legal action over the indie survival game that's been referred to as Pokemon with guns. Nintendo previously released a statement about Palworld in January vowing to investigate and take appropriate measures against any potentially infringing content. Moda also claimed that Nintendo has come for me after posting a clip with Pokemon's Ash Ketchum in Palworld. Yeah, so we heard that, right? 6 months later in June, Pocketpair insisted that Nintendo had yet to make a complaint in response to the Pokemon ripoff claims. Nintendo and the Pokemon company didn't say anything to us, Pocketpair boss Takuro Mizobe told GameFile at the time. Of course, I love Pokemon and respect it. I grew up with it in my generation. Palworld launched on early access 2024 via Steam and so on and so forth. Yeah, we know that. Yes, they had tremendous success and Pokemon fans were quick to call out the similarities. Yes, although the indie developer insisted that Palworld is more akin to survival crafting games. Well, we played the game. It's difficult to say because you can put the difficulty very easy and then you can just beat every single PAL in the world without any problem. However, on hard, where you basically just have difficulty sliders. So you could say that I deal 10% damage and the enemies deal 500% damage. Now the game is really difficult, but is it really difficult or does it just take long? So that's essentially what you could do there. And so you could tweak your survival aspects the way you want them to, essentially. You know, there are presets, but most people just, you know, change the sliders themselves. And so it is true that there's a big survival crafting aspect to the game. And you can see that because their previous game from Pocketpair, by the way, it was a survival game as well. Their previous game was not Palworld, but Craftopia. Craftopia, you can already tell by the name. It's a very... It's very similar to... That's a very nice first image, I have to say. You know, burning cows, awesome. You can tell that there's a lot of similarities between this game and Palworld. So obviously, it's literally almost the same game, but just with humans instead of Pokemons. Interesting. Yeah, also very successful, 16,000 reviews. Anyways, so yeah. It is a survival game, however the Pals do look alike. Let's be real, Palworld deserves to be sued. To be honest, I don't think so. Why do I think that? Well, take a look at Pokemon and Dragon Quest. Essentially, Pokemon copied Dragon Quest. At least the models. And so how can you make an argument that Palworld should be sued when Pokemon did the same thing? They're not suing them for the likeliness of the characters to Pokemons. They're suing them because in the game, you can toss a ball at a Pokemon or at a Pal, and that ball ticks 3 times, for example. And that is a very specific way of capturing a Pal and Pokemon that is, I guess, in Nintendo's eyes, too similar to how it's done in Pokemon. The ball might not be red and white by default. It's a blue Pal sphere, but it's essentially the same way. It's rotating the same way. It's ticking 3 times. So this is the reason why they do that. You can internationalize patterns. It depends. Yeah, they're trying it in the US with this one here. Yeah, we can see all of these different images that go into it, you know. And then they also have this right here. Number of caught in the field characters. This, I guess, is the storage part. We talked about this yesterday, right? So there might be a way where they want to patent the storage part too, because we have storing Pals. And then I guess this is the Pokédex that they are trying to patent as well. Fight character data, or maybe not. This might be something different. Then start, init setting, obtain operation data, boss fight, use item. So the way you fight is what they're trying to patent as well. So that whenever you try to make a similar... Let's make this fit, by the way. Yeah. Whenever you try to make a similar game, you can't. You get sued by Nintendo, which I think is dumb. This right here is just a flowchart. Right? It's just a decision-making flowchart. Why would you be able to have dibs on how someone can implement that in their game? And if someone does that, does it the same way by accident, not all of a sudden they have a Nintendo lawsuit on their heels? Like, I find that to be disgusting, to be honest. This is ridiculous. Look at these flowcharts. This is all they're trying here. Look at this. Start of boss item use. In use, scene processing. Set item first animation point. Throw. Yes. Start boss item use scene process. You can patent process. Yeah, I know. You can patent that. So stupid. All creative work is derivative. Pokemon should be sued for everything that they copied from other games. Yeah, kinda, right? That's how I see it too. I hope Nintendo loses. Yeah, folks defend them as much, but they sue anyone who comes close to their property. I get it, but they have shown they care about customers the least among the major console manufacturers. Yeah, they do. Like, we have seen what the games look like. I'd agree, fans have poured tons of love into Pokemon with fan projects that weren't making a dime. Nintendo once waits until the eve with their release and then bam, here come the lawyers. Update, Pocketpair developer has responded. Oh, there we go. There's the response. Okay, let's see. Palworld developer Pocketpair responds to Nintendo Pokemon lawsuit, says it's unaware of the patents it's accused of infringing. Okay, let's see. Palworld developer Pocketpair has responded to Nintendo, the Pokemon company's shock patent infringement lawsuit, with a statement that says it's unaware which patents it's being accused of infringing. Overnight, Nintendo, the Pokemon company, announced it had taken legal action against fellow Japanese developer Pocketpair, alleging Palworld, dubbed Pokemon with Guns by fans, infringes multiple patent rights. Nintendo and the Pokemon company are seeking an injunction and compensation for damages. Pocketpair has said it will continue to update Palworld despite the lawsuit and apologize to players left concerned about the future of the game. Now, we have seen these This is the full statement. Okay, regarding the lawsuit, yesterday a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. Do you get notified when you get sued? Like what your issue is or what you're doing wrong? They will be, right, by the lawyers. The lawyers will tell them that no, you shouldn't do this. Pretty sure, right? That's how it works. Pocketpair is a small indie game company. Guys, it's no longer a small indie game company. Can you stop saying that? When you sell millions and billions and trillions, okay, and billions of games, then you're no longer a small indie game company, okay? Can you stop? Can you please stop that? Thank you. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue... I'm not saying that these guys are not awesome developers. I'm just saying that they are not small. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know that our games bring joy to millions of gamers around the world. Palworld was a surprise success. Come on, man. You made a very Pokemon-like game. There wasn't a surprise success. You knew this was gonna be successful, bruv. Both for gamers and for us. We were blown away by the amazing response. Well, I'm pretty sure they were blown away because it was crazy. Highest player numbers on Steam. Ridiculous. To the game and have been working hard to make it even better for our fans. We will continue improving Palworld and strive to create a game that our fans can be proud of. It is truly unfortunate that we will have to be forced to allocate significant time in matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost to our fans and ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas. Yes, if you have to change some of the designs, I think it's fine. Hopefully not too many, because they really do look good. We apologize to our fans and supporters to worry discomfort that this news has caused. As always, thank you for your continued support of Palworld and Pocketpair. Players were left wondering whether Nintendo and the Pokemon Company lawsuit will force Palworld to shut down. As you expect, the official Palworld Discord is packed with posts from players debating the likelihood of Nintendo's success and the implication it might have on the game. Meanwhile, Pocketpair has continued to update Palworld regardless. Just a few hours after Nintendo announced the lawsuit, Pocketpair released a hotfix for the Xbox version. Cool. The developer said the same issue is happening in the Steam version and it's on the case. Cool. Thank you for your continued support. Replies to this tweet. We're quick to note the timing of the hotfix. Please don't ever shut down the game. You're all killing it, said one fan. You're all getting sued and posting hotfixes, said another. Yeah. Not even phased. Yeah. These guys are basic, essentially. After Palworld's record-breaking launch in January and the subsequent comparisons to Pokemon, IGN asked experts whether Nintendo could potentially successfully sue Pocketpair. At the time, Peter Levin, I guess that's one of the experts, video game lawyer at Wigan, told IGN much would depend on which country Nintendo pursued legal action in, given the difference in IP laws across the globe. The US, for example, has a notoriously permissive fair use of defense. Yeah, so I don't think they will win in the US because it's transformative, which might have influenced where Nintendo sued Pocketpair. Nintendo's lawsuit was filed in the Tokyo District Court. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in Japan, this is much more strict, so they could potentially win there. Sam Castry, a copyright lawyer and avid Pokemon player, told IGN there was the potential for a court order that would block Pocketpair from selling Palworld, but cast doubt on the likelihood. That analysis, however, was in the context of a lawsuit based on copyright infringement. Nintendo's lawsuit alleges patent infringement. The thing is that in the US, it's a money well. If you have a smaller company, you get easily swollen by lawyer fees. But they are not small, bro. They have literally earned
billions and billions and
millions. However, this could drag on and obviously cost them a lot of money. If they're getting sued for patents, it's probably for the game mechanics. For likeliness and name, it would be copyright and trademark, not patent. You mean tossing balls to capture pals? That could be one of the game mechanics. Then the spawning of your pals. You can only spawn one pal. You literally have a bank of pals. This could be, yeah. Imagine having a system that can patent creative ideas. Kind of stupid. We'll have to see. But I hope they lose. I hope they lose. And you know what I hope would be like nothing can come good of this, right? They will both have to pay money. But if they lose, then at least Palworld stays. I hope that Palworld stays. At least for me. Maybe it won't stay in Japan, but I'm pretty sure in Japan you can just use a VPN to play Palworld, right? What sucked though? Again, I hope they lose. Otherwise we get this, guys. AAA, by the way. Think about it, okay? Do you want this? That grass is sad? Yeah, it's a very sad grass. It's like, I don't know, 5 bushes. Draw distance 5 meters. And then if you go further away than 5 meters, it starts popping out grass. You know, to save to save computation power. I made this. Looks better than Tangy TD. You're banned. It does not look better than Tangy TD. You're wrong. And that was really, really uncalled for. Be right back. Patenting a shitty selfie simulator while standing on 12 tufts of grass, yeah.